everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Heart of a Husband. I cannot believe that this is the last episode of the year. I cannot believe that it will be Christmas in 3 days. Here we are. We are 2 weeks away from the end of 2025. Lot to reflect on. This has been an interesting year. This has been a big year for our family. You know, we've had lots of things to celebrate, and we've had lots of things to mourn. It's been quite a year. I think that's what we all go through. We all have things that the ups and downs of life, and this year has actually been full of those moments. I've had lots of new things and lots of incredible things and lots of really difficult things, and so I'm thankful we got through another year of this podcast. This is the end of season 2. And so if you haven't checked out any of the older episodes, go back and look them up. You can find them. There's a whole episode. There's a whole season 1, and this is the last episode of season 2. So thanks for joining us. Let's get started. This week, just in context of where we're at, I want to talk about surviving the pressures of the holidays. And you may be like, well, Paul, we're just about past them. And I get it, but how about some advice just for maybe the next couple of days? Or something to keep in mind as you start moving toward next year's holidays. There's always these seasons that feel like pressure. Not always holiday seasons. It just happens to be what we're talking about today. Holiday pressure, it hits from every angle. The finances, family expectations, schedules, emotional load, and honestly, just the weight of trying to make everything good. There's this weight of you want it to be perfect for your kids. You want them to have things that you never had. And sometimes the pressure to even outdo what you did the year before, or the kids want the perfect gift and the kids want this certain thing. When I was a kid, I remember the J.C. Penney catalog would come out, and we would pull out the catalog and go through all the toy section and circle all the things that we want. Then you leave it kind of laid out so your parents could know that you've went through it, hoping that they would see the things that you circled. Now our kids just add things to the Amazon list. So I guess that's not much different. But it creates a real pressure at times. It's real and it's heavy. And if we're not intentional, it can break up our rhythms. It can bleed into our marriage. So this pressure happens and we feel it internally, and then it finds its way into our relationship with our spouse. But the good news is that pressure doesn't have to crush you. It can actually clarify you. I want to talk about this in a couple different parts, but first, the Husbands Want to Know segment. Welcome to the Husbands Want to Know segment. This question has to do with the holidays, of course, because that's what the episode's about. And here's the question: how do I keep from getting overwhelmed during the holidays? Well, life can be overwhelming, and at times the holidays can be overwhelming. And I think I'm going to just give you 3 practical steps. 3 practical steps to avoid getting overwhelmed during the holidays. And you might even want to share these with your wife if she's willing to hear from you. But the first one is simplify. Identify 3 things that truly matter in this season. Release everything else. You can just let it go. That's the sound of things being let go. Not everything deserves your energy. And that's just a life lesson. This isn't just about the holidays. When you feel pressure, simplify. 2, create Sabbath moments. It's so important for us to have Sabbath moments. And though getting to a place where you could have an entire day of Sabbath is great, but what if you created Sabbath moments daily or Sabbath moments weekly? You may not get a full day, but you can get 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day just to breathe, pray, recenter. Give yourself these moments. It's okay. Your time is yours. And what we get paid for is a mixture of what we know how to do and our time. And time is the only commodity that you never get back. But if you give yourself some rest, some respite, some chill time, just to be, don't think about anything, don't do anything, just set and be, it will help reduce the stress and the pressure that comes from the holidays and life in general. And number 3 is something that a lot of guys don't want to do. Sometimes we're way too proud to do this, but it's ask for help. Leadership isn't about doing everything alone. It's about carrying what matters with Jesus and with your wife. To be overwhelmed is a signal. It's not shame. Listen to it. Don't ignore it. So 1, simplify. Just focus on what really matters. Let everything else go. 2, create Sabbath moments for yourself. Give yourself space just to exist. And 3, ask for help. Go to Jesus. Go to your wife. Go to a close and trusted friend. And that's been the Husbands Want to Know segment. I want to talk about this in a couple of different parts. And the first part, it's all about the pressure that pace creates. So pace creates pressure. The holidays will expose something, our speed. Most of us operate at 110% from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Like it's on. And, we just got through Thanksgiving. Now we're moving into Christmas, and then we're moving into New Year's. There's just so much going on. So many gatherings and parties and gifts exchanges and all kinds of things. And sometimes Christmas parties, they start before Christmas, and sometimes they go after Christmas. It's their shopping, events, gathering, work deadlines, school programs, everything stacks up. I mean, I'm feeling the pressure just talking about it. But here's the truth. Pressure increases when pace outruns presence. I'll say that again. Pressure increases when pace outruns presence. When I'm moving too fast, I'm more reactive and I'm less patient and I'm far less connected. The people closest to me, my wife, my kids, they feel it most. They can tell. My daughter can always tell. My wife can tell. My son can tell. And oftentimes they tell me. And so I think that when I say that pressure increases when pace outruns presence, I want you to focus on not just your presence and availability at home, but what is the presence of the Lord like in your life? Like, what is the relationship that you have with him? What does it look like when you invite his presence into all the moments? And oftentimes, when we get so busy and our pace is so fast, one of the first things to go is time in his presence. And time in his presence will always impact the way we show up in presence with our wife and our kids. Jesus says in Matthew, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest." Matthew 11:28. No more tasks, no more expectations, just rest. If your soul is tired, don't push harder. Slow down. You have control. You get to decide. There's always going to be work to do tomorrow. So you can say, I'm done for the day. You can say, I'm not going to start first thing in the morning. I'm going to give myself some time with me. I'm going to give myself some time with the Lord. I'm going to give myself some time with my wife, my kids, not out of pressure, but out of what you want to do. There'll always be work. Trust me, your employer will always take what you will give. And also, if you own your own business, then I say even more so, don't be that kind of boss that makes your employees work all the time. You're making yourself work all the time. You don't have to do that. You can give yourself space. Put it into your calendar. 2, pressure reveals what you've been ignoring. It never comes out of nowhere. It exposes what was already there. It's like financial cracks or emotional exhaustion, marriage distance, spiritual drift. Hear me, that's not a failure, it's grace. Like when the pressure reveals, that's actually a gift from the Lord. He uses the pressure to reveal what needs attention. And the hope is that you don't let the pressure crush you, like we talked about last episode, but you give it to Jesus. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this revealing in me? What you're going through will reveal one of two things. It'll reveal an area that there needs to be a work of the Lord, or it will reveal an area that there has been a work of the Lord. And so pressure's not going to lie to you. It's an invitation. Part 3, pressure shrinks when expectations get realigned. One of the biggest sources of holiday stress is unrealistic expectations. We put this pressure on ourselves. It's so different. When I was a kid, we basically were at home and church. There wasn't a bunch, I played sports in junior high. There wasn't a lot of pre-junior high sports. I didn't play a lot of that. But now it's everywhere. I look at the field next to, there's a soccer field next to where we live. It's always full of kids playing soccer. The We live next to an X center, and it's always full of kids sports playing basketball. It's every night of the week. I'm constantly going. But I think that we have to realize that we can't fall for the lie that we have to deal with these unrealistic expectations. And so in the holiday season, you don't have to go to every event. You don't have to make every moment magical. There's beauty in the mundane. You don't have to keep everyone happy. You don't have to avoid conflict. There's a healthy way to address conflict. You don't have to buy the perfect presents. You don't have to have the perfect attitude. I mean, it helps to have a better attitude, but you don't have to show up and be someone that you're not. No one can carry all of that. And your wife's not asking you to. A lot of these expectations are ones that we put on ourselves. Now, they may be based on things that we think our wife prefers. They may be based on things that we've heard our wife say in the past. But the reality is that you just can't carry it all. So you've got to choose, what are the most important things to me? This season isn't about perfection. It's all about presence, just being around. I know I've talked to many couples, and guys are like, I've worked so hard to provide for my family. I've done this, I've done that. I'm here, I'm there, and all the while they just wanted him to be around. Make sure that you're actually doing what your family needs, and you're not just doing it because you think that it's what they need. Your marriage doesn't need performance. Your home doesn't need hype. Your family needs a man who's calm, grounded, and present. When your expectations are realigned, the pressure will shrink. 4, a calm husband creates a calm home. Man, I wish I knew this one a couple of years back. I used to be pretty high strung. I was definitely this guy, always going, always hustling. Thought I had to make everything. And I wasn't very calm about it, what happens is if you're not calm, it actually impacts your entire house. Then all of a sudden, your wife's not calm, your kids aren't calm, nobody's calm. The emotional temperature of your home often starts with you. There's research from the Gottman Institute that's shown that the father's emotional regulation significantly shapes the atmosphere of the home. When a husband's anxious, everything feels tight. Oh, I've seen that in my house. Even if you're not trying to express it, when you feel it, it translates. When a husband's grounded, everything feels safe. And I've seen that also in my home. We show up in a place where we're not moved by emotions. We're not moved by all the things that are happening around us. We are steady and firm, and we're on a firm foundation, and our family feels safe. One of the most Christ-like things you can do this Christmas is to simply stay steady. Don't overreact. Lead with gentleness. Speak with patience. Move at a pace your soul and your family can breathe in. Make it a peaceful holiday. Make it a peaceful Christmas. Make it a peaceful New Year. You can do this. When you protect your wife with peace, you protect your home. Now it's time for the Husband's Love Challenge. Okay, guys, it's the Husband's Love Challenge, and today, this is it. We are getting really close to Christmas. I don't know if you guys are like, go shopping last minute. I don't know if your wife has already wrapped everything. I'm not sure what it is that you do to help in this season, but we are just a couple days away. If you're listening on December 22nd of 2025, you are listening to this episode on the day that it came out. If you're listening late, I'm sorry. You can still take these principles and apply it to whatever you're doing. But today, the Husband's Love Challenge is this. Choose one holiday moment. Decorating, which you probably have already done. Shopping, who knows? I still have things to get. Planning, wrapping gifts, and intentionally leading with calmness and presence. Be the steady voice in the room. So think about those moments on Christmas morning. You're like, oh, I love Christmas, but man, I'm not looking forward to this. It always gets me worked up. How are you going to choose to respond in peace in that moment and do it? You can do it. That's the Husband's Love Challenge. All right, guys, one thing I want to say before we move into prayer, I just want you to realize that your family may not remember all the details of this season. I mean, we think they do. We think, oh, we're going to create these memories they're going to remember forever. They probably will not remember all the details of this season, but they will remember how it felt to be around you. You know, I've responded and acted in ways that I shouldn't, and my kids remember that. I mean, the big thing for me is like a season of our life, we were going on vacations, and I just wasn't fun to be around. And that has impacted my kids in a way that they don't want to go on vacation anymore. I kind of have to own that. I want to show up in peace. I want to be a person that my kids want to be like, man, my dad was so chill when everybody else was out of control in our house. We are peacemakers if we're Jesus followers. Let's pray. Father, thank you for every man listening today. Thank you that you meet us in our pressure and not after it. As we walk into the holidays, I pray you help every husband slow down, breathe deep, and remember that your presence is our peace. Give us wisdom to know that what matters, courage to say no to what doesn't matter, and the strength to carry what you've called us to carry with grace. Steady our emotions, calm our spirit, and guide us to love our wives and family with patience and tenderness. Help us to be the kind of men who carry peace into every room we enter. We surrender this season to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Heart of a Husband podcast. I'm so thankful for you guys. I know we talked about gratitude in the last episode. I'm just so grateful for you that you continue to check in and subscribe and listen. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't checked this episode out on YouTube, please check it out and subscribe. And I'd love for you to give us reviews wherever you're at, whatever platform you listen on. It really helps get the message out. And just remember, you can go to heartofahusband.com and check out what's going on. Our retreat's in 3 weeks, and we still have a couple of openings left. I'd love to have you. If you mention that you listen to the Heart of a Husband podcast, you're going to get a discount on that. So check it out, heartofahusband.com. I'd love for you to join communities. You know, if you want to go to Facebook, we have the Christians Husband Support Group on there. It's a group of Christian husbands who have joined together on encouraging each other. I just want to again say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being part of this community. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. God bless you. God bless your family. I can't wait to connect with you in 2026. And don't forget, continue to love your wife like Christ loves the church.